guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. I'm going to be doing something a little different, which I know I've said that in the last two video intros, but I'm sort of trying to branch out from doing exclusively Project Pan content, and so I wanted to talk a little bit about my relationship with the clean beauty industry and why I sort of got away from it. Yeah, why I'm not sort of buying into the hype surrounding clean beauty. To preface this is probably going to be a precursor video. I really want to do a video when I have a few more spare brain cells to rub together about a lot of the common ingredients used in skincare products that people think are bad or are often used or not used, and what they do, why they work, and why you might want to avoid them or not. I'm in a marine science degree, so I'm definitely not a chemist. I just want to put that right out there. Although I did leave a biochemistry degree to switch into ocean science, and I do have a soft spot for chemistry at heart, and I always enjoy looking into these things and learning more about them. And so I thought, since I have a very tiny platform, but a platform nonetheless, that I would share some of that with you. But this is going to be more like my thoughts and feelings, because boy howdy do I have some. So I'm going to be sort of talking a little bit more about why I stopped purchasing exclusively clean beauty, and then also talk about some of my issues with the marketing tactics. First of all, before I get into that, let's talk about the definition of clean beauty. It does differ depending on where you look. So according to Sephora, their list of Clean at Sephora is defined as formulated without parabens, sulfates, SLS and SLES, phthalates, mineral oils, formaldehyde, and more. And then Harper's Bazaar expands that to also include oxybenzone, triclosan, hydroquinone, and artificial fragrances. So it definitely varies, and it's actually an unregulated term. Clean beauty and natural are unregulated terms, so there is no oversight for those and no criteria that you have to meet. So basically you can label anything clean beauty without being certified the same way a designation like organic is certified. So I think that that's a big thing to be aware of, that all of this clean beauty is not necessarily certified. Now, if you are a clean beauty person, I'm not attacking that. This is not me hating. This is just sort of, I guess, me sort of talking about my experience and some of the reasons why I personally don't buy into those. Oh, by the way, I'm all bundled up. I'm at my parents' place, and for some reason, the side of the house that my bedroom is on gets incredibly cold all the time. I'm sure it has to do with wind and convection, but I always end up being bundled up when I'm up here, and I've just been reading research papers for the last 3 days essentially. Reading research papers and doing calculus, so living the life. But yeah, I'm here for reading week. We figured this was reasonable because there is, I feel like whenever you travel there needs to be a disclaimer, but there is no COVID where my parents live. There's no COVID in their county. There's no COVID in the next county over. And there are about 5 cases where I am, and they're all related to travel. So just wanted to get that out of the way, but I will be back in my apartment probably in the next week or so. We're sort of seeing how it goes. But yeah, anyway, so let's talk about clean beauty. So I have my notes down here, so if you see me looking over here, that is why. Yeah, so I grew up using a lot of clean beauty. My mom is such an avid supporter of local soap makers and artisans and small businesses, which I think is fantastic, and I think that if you have the option to support those people and their products do work for you, absolutely go for it. But in my experience, I just found that I was buying things and they just weren't working. I don't have particularly difficult skin, but I found that my skin oftentimes didn't feel clean, and it felt like there was sort of a film left over, and my skin would be quite unhappy, even if I was using my preference, which would be a cleansing milk. And I also noticed that the moisturizers were never hydrating enough. So I would use, 2 or 3 layers, and my skin still wouldn't feel soft or smooth or fully hydrated. And so that was frustrating. And also, clean beauty products tend to have a much higher price tag, so it felt like every single time I bought something, I was taking a gamble, and I really try not to return opened items if I don't have to. The only times I really ever do that is if something gives me an actual reaction, which I can count on one hand the number of times I've had to do that. But if it's just something like a shampoo that I bought that doesn't do a very good job of cleaning, most likely I will just stick it out until it's empty, because I would feel badly returning something that I know is most likely just going to be destroyed. it felt like every single time I went to try something new, it kind of felt like taking an expensive gamble because I wasn't sure if it was going to be effective. Now, there are some really good brands out there. If you're looking for like a natural shampoo, I highly recommend Desert Essences. I find that theirs are fantastic, and those are by far the best that I've tried, but I just found that, yeah, it was just kind of taking an expensive gamble for a product that might not have been as effective, and often you get less product and they're more expensive. So I just found that as somebody who's definitely balling on a budget, like I said, I've been a student for a while now, so I'm quite familiar with the student budget, and it just sort of stopped feeling worth it to me. I just wasn't getting the results that I wanted, needed, or expected, especially if I'm paying more. I think you have higher expectations the more money you shell out, and I just felt like the products that I was buying weren't worth the price tag and weren't meeting my expectations at a bare minimum. So that was the main reason. And this summer, I decided that I was going to branch out of my comfort zone, and I bought some products from The Ordinary, and let me tell you, there is something about synthetic or lab-based skincare where I figured, they're formulating it directly for your skin. They're formulating things to penetrate your skin better and work with your skin. And I figured that was worth a try. And again, this is not a plug for The Ordinary, but I just found that by being able to pick and choose my actives and tailor a skincare regimen that works for my skin has never been so happy. Take a shot every time I said skin in that last sentence. Oh my god. But my skin has never been happier. I have gotten results that I never ever have managed to get in my 12 years of buying my own products before. And so that was something that was really eye-opening. Natural is not necessarily always better. That really bothered me about the sort of clean, natural skincare was that I felt that the marketing tactics very much preyed on people's fear of the unknown and things that they couldn't pronounce or didn't fully understand. I'm not a chemist by training. Really, if you count a couple of first year chemistry classes and a couple of biochemistry classes, I'm not a chemist by training, but I do find this stuff really interesting. But I find that when I see brands, preying on people's fear of big long chemicals, which is a really common thing for food as well, saying that, if I can't pronounce it, I'm not going to put it in my body or on my face. And I think that that is misleading because, again, I haven't taken organic chemistry as a class. I've taken it in the included in a general first year chemistry classes, and so I'm by no means an expert, but I do know that with organic chemistry nomenclature, that can get complicated really quickly, especially if you're looking at fatty acids or molecules that have a whole bunch of different functional groups. Those all have to be named, so things can get long and kind of scary looking quite quickly. I mean, I can barely pronounce dodecapentanoic acid, DHA, but I also know that DHAs are really important for brain health and skin health. So I think that this idea of if I can't pronounce it, I shouldn't be putting it on my face or body is pretty misleading and a little bit unfair. And I think this equation of, chemicals equal bad, I mean, basically everything's a chemical, right? Water's a chemical, salt is a chemical, and you need both of those to survive, but both of those things will also kill you if the dosage is enough. And so I found that a lot of the marketing was very fear-mongering and really relied on scare tactics to, scare consumers away from regular skincare and hair care. That was just kind of, I think, one of the things that led to me sort of deciding to no longer purchase these things. Yeah, so I think I'm going to wrap it up there, but I also have plans to do some videos talking about greenwashing a little bit more in depth and how you can be a more sustainable consumer, as well as talking a little bit more about some of the ingredients, a lot of the common ingredients that a lot of clean beauty brands will tell you to stay away from, and why that's a good or bad idea. Obviously take that with a grain of salt. Like I said, not a professional chemist, just somebody in an adjacent field who has an interest in those things, but those do require a few brain cells to rub together, and I've been doing a lot of research for final project topics, so I don't think that I'll be doing that anytime soon, but I'm definitely going to be kicking off the research process for those over the next few weeks. So stay tuned. Maybe over the summer when I have a little bit more free time, those will be coming. But yeah, I just thought that I would sort of talk a little bit about my experience and why I stopped exclusively purchasing clean beauty. And like I said, it mainly had to do with the effectiveness and the price tag, but it also got to the point where I was sort of very frustrated with a lot of the marketing tactics used to sell clean beauty. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this one, but I hope you enjoyed. I would love to hear your experiences. Do you buy clean beauty? Do you not? What's your criteria for things that you purchase? I'm always open to discussion, so I think it would be cool to hear from you guys. As always, if you liked the video, I would love it if you would like and subscribe, and hopefully I will catch you in the next one. Bye!